Hello, Keith Rucker here at VintageMachinery.org. Guys, we've been working on some special tool holders that go in my Kerner Trekkie Model 2D milling machine, the rotary head mill. It takes a special 30 taper tool holder that fits up in the spindle that pretty much is specific to that machine. And to my knowledge, nobody's really making these things anymore. I had a couple of needs for a couple of custom tool holders for some applications coming up. One for a boring head, another for just an arbor to put some cutters on. And since I can't go out and buy them, we're just making them here in the shop. So let's pick up where we left off. We're over here at the Brown & Sharp number 13 Universal Tool and Grinding Machine. And we're gonna be finished grinding these tool holders in and getting them ready to use. Let's pick up where we left off. All right, I think we are ready to roll. I'm going to move my cutter in here. Just bringing the wheel in closer to the work. And let this get out a little bit. Looks like it was cutting a little bit heavier down on this end, which is fine. I just kind of need to get a starting point. Let it cut back across. All right, just starting to touch in there. I want to make light cuts. I'm going to cut back across, and we'll feed in another thou or two. And what I want to do right now is just get this to clean up, and then I'm going to get my taper micrometer and actually measure it with that. That'll give me a little better indication as to how close we are. I'm going to feed in about another thou here. Starting to make contact up in here now. I'm going to let it just go back across, and we'll feed in about another thou. All right, I fed in another thousandths. We're just going to sneak up on it. I'm just going to stop right here for a minute. I just want to take a kind of look at where we're at. So we've still got a little bit to clean up in here, but I got enough to get a measurement with my taper micrometer. and that's not too hot at all. Let me get my taper mic out. I want to see if I need to make any adjustments, and I can go ahead and do that now while I'm at it. So let me get that going, and we'll be right back. I had to take it out of the machine to get a good measurement, and we're going to be using a taper micrometer. If you've never seen one of these, basically it's got a sine bar built into a micrometer, and you're basically measuring with a micrometer head over here the distance from being parallel, and you can, just like you would set it up on a surface plate or something, you can measure a taper here. So I'm gonna come in here, and what you want is you want all 4 pads kind of touching, and there's a feel to this thing. You just kind of have to get it right there where you want it. And that feels pretty darn good right there. See, we're at 200 thousandths, 1, 2, 3 lines, so that's 75 plus 15 would be 90, 290, and on the 10th scale, we're reading about 5. So, and according to what we need 285.5. So we're about 5 thousandths too steep or not, or 5 thousandths out on our taper. So I need to make a little adjustment over there on the machine and see if we can fine tune this. So let me do that, and we'll come back and we'll remeasure this. So I went over to my machine. I knew I was about 5 thousandths per inch out, which because we're cutting on both sides, that's 2.5 thousandths on each side. I measured over 4 inches from the center point, and then I took my dial indicator, put on the table, and I bumped it in 10 thousandths, which is 2.5 times 4, and that should get us pretty darn close. And let's see where we're at. You kind of just have to play with the pressure on this until you got even pressure on the top and the bottom. We're reading at 75 plus 10, which would be 85. And on the 10th scale, we're lined up between 6 and 7. And we need to be 285.6. So we're within half a 10,000th of being dead nuts on. So I'm happy with that. I'm going to probably just put this back in there and just kind of let it spark out, get a really nice grind on it. I just wanted to get it out and check it again to see if I need to make another adjustment, but we're where we need to be. And we can, after I get this one done, we'll put the other ones on there, the actual tool pieces. We'll have the angle set. We're just ready to start grinding it. So I think we're good. All right, I did redress the wheel. Just make sure we got a good final grind on here. We need to bring this in until it touches off again. There we go. We're gonna I see this one little tiny place down here on the end that didn't clean up, so I just fed in just about a half a thou. We'll probably just go with it from here. If you notice a little spot up here, that's that little place we milled out. That's not a miss, but you can kind of see it coming around. Yeah, that got it that time. All right, I'm just gonna let that go back and forth a couple of times and let it spark out. Just to get a nice, good, clean finish on there. But this will be finished up, and again, this will be my reference piece if I ever need to cut this taper again. Since I've got it set up and I've gone to all the trouble to really fine adjust everything, now I can just throw this up onto the machine between centers, put an indicator on there, sweep it, and ought to be able to get it, pretty much right where it needs to be without having to do a lot of trial and error. That's the whole idea of this. I do anticipate in the future having to make some more tool holders for that 2D mill, so this will come in handy down the road, I'm sure. All right, we'll let that spark out a little bit, and we'll get our other tool holders on there and start grinding those out. All right, I've got my stop set here. I've got my next piece put in. I'm gonna start bringing my grinding head in. And that's just a little bit close on that side. I'm gonna have to move it in a notch, I think. That's fine on that end. We're kind of going up against the shoulder. I just don't want to crash my cutter in there, so let's see how that looks. Man, that's close. I'll move my stop out a little bit more. All right, I can deal with that. I don't want to go too fast. All right, we're just barely touching up here. I'm going to go back to the other side. We'll feed in a thou. So I need this outside diameter here to be 1.275. Right now we're about 325, so I got 50 thousandths I need to just grind off of that. So I'm gonna have to just come in here and do some grinding. I'll be back in a little bit. All right, we are really kind of right on the upper end of the tolerance of where I can be at on these. And I'm going to stop just a little bit shy because I realized something that I forgot to do. And some of you guys probably have already realized this. But I should have, before I heat treated these, there's 2 slots that get milled into this, and I forgot to do that. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and just kind of grind the other one down close to size, and then I'm going to take these over to the milling machine, cut those slots in there, then I'm going to put them back on here, and we'll just take a couple of thousandths off of it just to clean it up, make sure I don't have any sharp corners up there on the tops of those grooves. That's what actually drives this, is there's some little dogs up inside that spindle that engage in those slots, and I'm hoping that I'll be able to cut these with a carbide cutter over on the milling machine, even though they're hardened. It's 4140, it's not like it's tool steel, so hopefully we won't have any problems there. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and get the other one set up, get it rough ground, and then I'll meet you over at the milling machine and we'll see about putting those slots in there. So I'm over here at the milling machine. I've got my part set up over here in a indexer. This is just basically a chuck, and I can spin it around 180 degrees and cut both sides. This is just what I came up with to be able to do that on. I've got a 1/2 inch end mill in here. According to the blueprints, the groove needs to be between 0.505 and 0.510 wide, and according to my math, we need to go 180 thousandths deep, touching off at the top up here. I'm gonna probably do this about 25 thousandths at a time. Just take my time. I'm gonna go in and out. Probably do one side, flip it over, do the other side, and just work my way around until we get to the depth, and I can measure across the flats to see where I need to be at. This is a carbide end mill, so it's harder than high-speed steel. Hopefully we'll cut through this steel with no problem. And I've got it sticking out kind of long because I got some clearance issues with the jaws, but hopefully it doesn't give us any problems. Let's, oh, and I've already got it centered up on here. I just basically came in with an edge finder, found the edge on both sides, divided it in half, and got it on the center that way. All right, let's raise our table up until we touch off. I'm just going to slowly raise up until I see a chip. Get a little light on the subject where I can see what's going on a little better. All right, right there is 0 on my height. I'm going to zero out my Z-axis. And I'm going to do about 25 thousandths on the depth. Let's see how this does. All right, I'm going to go ahead and spin this around. So I'm at 0 degrees right now. It should be 4 clicks will get me to 180. Go up another 25 thou. I'm hitting up here. Not letting me go in as far as I need to go, which means, dadgummit, may have to see if I can find a longer end mill. All right, I have found a longer carbide end mill. I think I'm going to have enough clearance here now. So let's try this again. I've already kind of zeroed that down. So we'll come back out. And can't remember if I'd already done the other side on this one or not. Nope, I'll just come on in and cut it. I'm hoping that extra length doesn't give me any problems. Doesn't appear to be. All right, let me go another, raise up my table some more. Appears to be cutting good. And I'm going to pull this out a little bit and get a measurement across those flats. Figure out how much more we got to take off. All right, looks like we're 989 thousandths. Yeah, 989. So let me figure out how much we got to take out of there. Come out, we'll flip it around the other side. right, so it looks like I'm about a thou under 0.925, but that's in my tolerance range. I got between 0.916 and 0.936. So I thought I'd just show this real quick. I've already finished grinding this taper. It all checks out good, but this was the setup here. Basically the same as before, just had a little bit different work holding on this end. A little bit longer tool, but same taper. And I got all my tapers done. So now I need to get this thing set up for making a straight cut, and we need to grind the arbor down here on the other side to 1 1/4 inch. So I need to reset my table back to 0 degrees. I'm just going to loosen up all my clamps. That's my center pivot. Got clamps on this end. And we'll just rotate our table back around here. Now, there is a knob down here on the end that you use to adjust this, fine tune it. Unfortunately, it's broken. When I went to adjust it earlier, it just snapped off. It was already about halfway broken in there, so I'm gonna have to repair that for my fine adjust. But I can get this thing bumped around to where it needs to go. I'm gonna start by just getting this set on 0 degrees. We're about 1 degree off right now. I'm gonna take a little lead hammer and just bump that around. I can see my 0 degrees right there as well. All right, so that's 0 degrees on the scale, but like before, we're going to use an indicator, and I'm going to put a test bar up there between centers, and we'll get that thing tuned in to exactly 0 degrees. I've got a precision ground test bar in here, and what I want to do is I want to sweep this back and forth until it is running true on the indicator. We should be close with the 0 degrees on the mark, but this is going to give us a much better reading. This is a tense reading indicator, so it's extremely accurate. I'm just going to start. We'll just zero that out. It's probably going to take several passes here to get this tuned in. So I'm going to start sweeping out, and it's quickly falling off. I'm going to bump my table around here until we come back to 0. All right, let me re-zero that. Take another drive down through here. All right, we're dropping off slower now. One thou. All right, that's pretty much dead nuts on. I'm gonna tighten the table down. We'll sweep it again, make sure, but I think we got it where we need to be. All right, guys, we are ready to do the spindle on this one. And I've got my stop set. It's kind of nerve rattling going up against that shoulder. I hope my stop is consistent. It was before because I don't want to crash that cutter. But I'm going to feed in about another thou there. And start grinding this one in. This one will come completely off on this end. There is a key ground in this one, so we're getting that little bit of interrupted grind, but shouldn't hurt anything. Let it come out the end here. I'll give it another thou. So a couple of things on my setup. You know, we are still turning between centers. I got my table set on 0 degrees. You guys saw that. I'll reset the grinder in the back. You know, it was at a little bit of an angle before for clearance. I'll take that back to 0 as well, just to get things back straight again. And I redressed my wheel so that we got a nice fresh grind, and we got that angle out of there that we had in there before to match the angle that the head was tilted to. And this shaft down here has got to go to 1.25 inches. So I'm gonna wait until I get it cleaned up. I'll get a good measurement on it, and we'll just grind it to size. This is basically gonna be an arbor that tools can go up onto, kind of like a horizontal milling machine tooling, but shorter. And I can run that on the 2D milling machine. Once I get the diameter done, I'm also going to have to face grind up here that seat so that it'll be nice and square. We'll do that with a cup wheel. That'll be our last step after we get through with all of our grinding with this wheel, because I have to change wheels to do that. But anyway, we'll continue on here. Same process as grinding a taper. We're just going straight this time instead. All right, we're cleaned up all the way around. Let me get a micrometer and get a measurement, see where we're at. All right, so we're about 22 thousandths to go. Just gonna check it in a couple of places, make sure. Yeah, about 21 and a half. So anyway, we got a little ways to go. We'll just continue on grinding. I'll bring you guys back in a minute. We are getting down real close to being on size here. Right now I'm about 2 thousandths over, so I need to just make a couple more passes here, and I think we'll have this to size. I'm just taking 1/1000th per pass. Stop here. Another measurement. And we're right on the money. All right, I do need to face the surface up here, and honestly I need to I'm gonna use a different wheel to get up into that corner. I don't think, I had a little degradation on the edge of the wheel right here at the end, so it's probably a little bit large right there, but we'll take care of that in a minute. But before I do, while I'm still set up here with this wheel, I'm gonna just clean up these outer diameters on both of these cutters or holders. It's just for aesthetics more than anything else. That's just the original bar surface that hasn't even been turned. That'll just should make it turn concentric with everything else. It'll just look a little bit nicer as well. So let me get set up for that. cleaned up. All right, I'm gonna clean up the other one, and then we'll face grind this. Well, I got a problem, guys. I need to come in here and grind this face. I was gonna use this cup wheel to do it, but the problem I've got is that this cup wheel is not very large diameter, and I'm gonna run into the bearing housing here before I can get it in deep enough. So I'm gonna have to get a different wheel for this. This is just a wheel I had. So let me see about getting a new wheel ordered, and we'll have to wrap this thing up once I get a new wheel in, because I don't have the wheel I need. So no problem. We'll need that wheel again down the road, so I'll just go ahead and get one here where we can use it. Well, it took a couple of days to get here, but I got a new wheel in, and this is a wheel that I think we can finish this up with. This is actually a cupped wheel. It's not as cupped as the wheel that I had on here before, but it does come out, and basically you got a flat on this side, and there's a very small flat on the front. Right now, before I use this is a brand new wheel. It's the first time it's been chucked up in here. I need to dress it true to the grinder, so I'm going to face this back side, and I'm going to flip it around. I'm also going to face the front to get us two edges there that we can grind on. So let me get I got the diamond mounted in here, so let's go ahead and get that dressed. And bring it into it, barely touches right there. I'm going to do just a little bit more, not much. All right, that is dressed. And I need to flip my diamond around. And we'll dress this front edge as well. All right, I think we got it. So this last operation is I want to just dress the back edge of this so that we have a nice square shoulder for that to come up against. And I also want to relieve a little bit down in the bottom, just because I wasn't able to grind all the way up to that shoulder. When I cut that, I actually made a little relief down in there, but I didn't go quite far enough. But I think if we just go in a little bit deep with the grinding wheel in the bottom, it'll be just fine. So let's fire it up and do this last little step. I'm just going to bring my wheel in. I don't have a very fine adjust over here on the, or do I? Alright, I'm just going to bring that in. It's barely touching right now. Like I said, we're going to go all the way down into that bottom. I'm hitting in the bottom right now. All right. I'll come out. I'm going to feed in just a little bit more. Take real small bites here. I think that's got it. Has got that arbor finished up. Well guys, I think we have knocked this project out and have made two new tool holders custom for the job we need. And if I didn't know any better, I'd say that those could have been made in the K&T factory. They look good. So again, this one here is threaded to fit up onto this boring head, and that thread is snug, but it's going on. I think what I'll do is, before I actually do that, I'm going to put some thread locker in there, some Loctite, just to make sure it stays put. And this one here, again, is for putting like a cutter like you'd put on a horizontal milling machine. It's just a little small arbor, and this is a spacer, and that is a nice snug fit up on there. I mean, there's just no play in that hardly at all. And then this is off the other one, but this is a little piece that will just tighten up on the bottom, and that will just sandwich it all together in there. Once we get our cutter mounted on there, there'll be spacers. Depending on the thickness of the cutter, you may have spacers like this in here to kind of get it situated, but I just needed one a little bit longer than the one I had, which was going to be too short for the job I got coming up that I need it for. So anyway, those are knocked out and ready to go, and I'm excited to have these tools. Actually, the other day I was looking, and I already see another one that I'm going to have to make for a special tool holder, and I'll probably do that one coming up soon, because I'm going to need that cutter here before too long as well, and which is why I went ahead and made the mandrel to get my machine set back up to that taper, because now that I've got the ability to do this, I'm going to probably be doing this, whenever I need a special tool holder. I'm not going to let it hold me back. I can just go make one. Well, guys, when you can go buy stuff like this off the shelf somewhere, generally speaking, it's probably a better option. For like if I needed a tool holder for my Wells Index over there, it's readily available to go buy R8 tooling. And while I could make it for my machines if I needed to, if there was something that I couldn't find, when you take in the amount of time and effort it takes, the materials and everything else, it's usually cheaper just to go buy one. But in the case of these, there's not one out there to buy, at least not readily available, unless you can find something used on eBay, and that's kind of a crapshoot as to what's up there at any given time. So, when those cases coming up, the nice thing about having a machine shop is, if you need something like this, you have the option of making it. And that's exactly what we did here. Some custom tool holders. And like I said, there'll probably be more of these coming in the future. Guys, with that, that's a wrap. As always, thanks for watching. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Those thumbs up, those comments, they're greatly appreciated, really help out a lot on the channel. Big, huge thank you to those who support the site financially through Patreon, PayPal, and through YouTube memberships. All those are great ways to go a little bit above and beyond. If you feel like you get value out of the content that we post, chip in a little bit. It really does make a difference around here, and makes it a lot more easily for me to justify taking the time to shoot the videos and do all the work that goes along with bringing YouTube content to you. And with that, guys, we're going to sign off. We're going to get out of here. We'll catch you on the next video. Again, as always, thanks for watching.